BD5 Pilot with you out at the Hillsboro hangar on a Sunday, and let me show you what I've been getting done. I've temporarily placed the side consoles and switch panels back in so I can make sure all my fit is correct. I have to finish the surround for the throttle and trim, but I did find a little knurled knob for friction on these so that they won't come loose easily. I'm just about to put the panel back into the aircraft, and I've taken the panel, I've added the they're like rheostats except they're digital. They're for controlling they're a dimmer for the backlights on the switches themselves, and then I plan on putting that light underneath the glare shield. And I put the bezel rings in for mounting the G3X and the G5. So I'll be able to place this in, and of course after I get that installed, I'll be doing some final work with the static lines, the static and pitot lines, and as I work on getting the wings wired for the wingtip lights, I've also got the kit for the RV-12 that I talked about, mounting the angle of attack workaround that they did right into this region. I'll have to drill a hole. I'll probably have to make a little backing plate for it, and it'll mount into the wing itself, so I have angle of attack measurement. Getting ever closer with the panel itself placed in. I'll do a little film after I get everything in here, so I sit in the aircraft and show how the switches now are in a better visual alignment. But next is putting the G3X and G5 in, and then making sure all the rest of my clearances are sufficient. Now, if that isn't something that'll make you happy, I'm not sure what is. All fitting beautifully so far. Let's put the glare shield on. You've seen it from this angle before, but not with the completed view, which I'm getting happier and happier about. The other thing I'm happy about is it's about 68 degrees inside this hangar, which makes it much nicer for working than the 48 degrees it was when I showed up. This little radiant heater works really well. One thing I love about being here at the hangar is I get to see some gorgeous aircraft periodically, like this Bonanza getting ready to taxi out from the hangars. I get a chance to get them on the move. I'll take a shot of that too. And there's the final carbon fiber piece, the surround for the throttle and trim. So there completes that carbon fiber look this aircraft is going to have. And big thanks again to Maurizio for doing the work on the knobs and the handles. And I'm going to put that front canopy back on and hop in here and take a look. All right, she's down on the ground with a temporary cushion in place. So I'm going to hop in there and see just what that feels like. All right, I'm all strapped in. You can hear the kind of change in the voice, but let's pull the camera back and show the other side. That's my vantage point, looking at the controls, the buttons, and everything's in easy reach. Looks like it'll work well. So onward and upward. What's next is opening this box from BD Micro. I have a new rudder to assemble out of here with the R8 mod, which is a chromoly steel rather than aluminum upper portion to mount that counterbalance. They had a couple failures of BD5s and losing the counterweight off the top, and it's something you don't want to have run through your propeller. But I also have the fiberglass wingtips, so I'm pulling these wingtips and the lights out. The landing light is going to end up being flush mounted inside the nose of the new wingtip. So let's go take a look at those. And as I unpacked and pulled the tape off, I found that Skeeter and Rich had been good enough to take one of these parts you see are inside and mark their suggested areas for where my bolt holes should go. And so I've got the clear acrylic shields protected with their covering so I don't scratch them up. The mounting kit itself, and then We'll take these parts out to do a little more finishing for the mold break on it, but I've already taken this one, trimmed the end just a little bit so I can put it in place on the wingtip. And sure enough, it's a tight but good fit. So a little bit more trimming, and I'll get this all installed. And that should make for a much nicer, sleek wingtip than the other ABS plastic parts. And I'm happy to discover the locations that I had already used are really, really close, and we shouldn't have any trouble finishing up this installation. Yep, this will make for a pretty sleek bird. And now I verified how I'll have to trim the areas on the tail edge there for the new reflex aileron tip I'm going to make. I'm going to have a little curve up, like a winglet, like a couple of the other builders have done, and report back that it really is a nice improvement for the aileron handling. Well, I'm going to call that a good weekend worth of work since I only got to work here on the Sunday. I'll be out here next weekend doing some more on the plane. Let's see if I can get those wingtips done. And guess what the good news is? The engine is being shipped. So I should have that ZDZ 500 here possibly next week, as early as next week, and we can go to work designing the motor mount and making it all come together. BD5 Pilot's out for now. Have a great weekend, everyone.